but we kept the same intro music, so it still feels like it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to...
Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody.
Why do I know that?
Let's twist again.
No.
Like we did last summer.
Nope, not picking it up. Anyway, welcome to the first official episode of our new podcast, Authors Behaving Badly, which is basically formerly the podcast known as Books and Bullshit with a couple of twists. Same great flavor, half the calories. And we are going to actually be focusing more on the talking shit and less on the actual, like, how to write this stuff, because we are way better at that than giving people, like, functioning advice. As always, I'm Zach.
And I'm Martina.
And we fight crime. Well,
and
not
together
really.
we fight crime.
We just mostly bitch about stuff from our couches and yell how we would get away with it.
Like the privileged white people we are.
She buried the body in the basement. So 1994.
Rookie move.
I wonder how many people got buried in basements in 1994.
I mean, I don't know, but there's probably a statistic for that. Actually, there's probably not a statistic for that. They don't really have a lot of murder statistics. Let me try that again. Statistics.
S's. Calm down there, snake. Martina's over here being a sneaky snake.
It's a snake.
Anyway, so let's run you through how this works again. So each episode, one of us picks an author or an event or a drama, whatever the fuck we want, because it's our podcast. You don't like it, go start your own. You can actually do that using Anchor. We'll teach you a little bit about that a little later on. But so one of us will do the research for a topic, and we will present it to the other one, and then we will just talk mad shit about it the whole fucking time. These topics can be anything from murders to fucking hand jobs to whatever the fuck. It could be crazy shit. Nothing is off the table. Yeah. And it's going to be a little bit more organized than our previous times because, you know, we actually have an intention for every episode now. We're not just kind of like winging this shit and talking about shit and repeating shit. And again, we're not really necessarily out giving you advice. Yeah. Yeah, like we are now. I feel like I just covered this. I smell toast. Does anybody else's face feel numb? What? I can crack a stroke joke.
Usually your stroke jokes have more to do with hand jobs, but okay.
My wrist hurts. All right, Martina. So for the first episode, I think you got one fucking ready to go here.
I do.
So I am really excited about what it is because the fun part is neither one of us knows what the other one chose. I'm wondering when the day comes, which one of us is going to piss the other one off first because we're recording one episode. Like, we both chose the same one, but the one of us that gets to it first, we're just going to be like, you bitch.
I feel like we're going to have a lot of leeway because there are some very bad authors out there in every conceivable way, whether it's murder or just really bad writing. We've got plenty to talk about.
Yeah, and it's not all about crimes. I mean, it's literally like, you know, just, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, not gossip, but...
Gossip, just... doing dumb shit.
Not conspiracy. Like, what's the word I'm looking for here? We're authors. Like, we got to think of a word. It's a synonym. Give me a synonym.
This is why we do podcasts. Because we're not good authors. We don't word good.
We don't the words good.
No bean juice to make the brain go.
Oh my God. So anyway, the whole point of this, Martina, I'm supposed to be keeping count of the time, but I forgot. So let me start that now, just so I can do that one. But go ahead, Martina, and let's start with what you got. So tell me about your author, Scandal. Scandal! That was the word! Scandal! I got it! Your turn.
Okay. So in looking up famous authors who did bad shit, I came across the perfect inaugural author who combines our love of bad writing, sex, and just being completely morally ambiguous.
J.K. Rowling?
The Marquis de Sade.
Oh.
A man so vulgar, they literally created an entire genre of kink about him.
Well, he is French. I mean, what do you expect?
He is, and let me tell you something. That comes into play big time. And he is literally like...
Is there like a lot of hair and like questionable body hygiene problems?
It's the way that the things that he wrote about used to be criminalized, but now France has sort of just embraced them as, just guys being guys.
Like a baguette in your bum.
Strangely enough, that also sort of comes into play.
Jesus Christ, the French.
So I will start by saying that the Marquis de Sade is actually a legit marquis. He has a title. He comes from... Sorry. Sound engineers being mauled by a small human.
Yeah, so I want you guys to know that Martina and I are maintaining eye contact with one another while in our periphery there are titties out and a baby just sucking away.
Aggressively.
Yes.
Angrily.
Very aggressively. It's like watching an awkward drunk freshman play slap the bag for the first time.
I feel like the Marquis de Sade would have written a book about this.
That's so gross.
I mean, he was gross. I'm going to preface this right now by saying he was gross. Like, I don't know what people know about him, but they've made a lot of like literary, like highfalutin kind of movies where they attempted to make him seem misunderstood, like a guy who was just a little too kinky for his day. Homeboy was like the original fuckboy. Like the original fuckboy.
Well, that's like the guy, like I'm a firm believer in like art's art. If you're not hurting anybody, what the fuck ever. Like, just like, I don't like censorship with certain things, like book burning, that's all stupid. But then you get shit like Lolita, and I'm like, maybe that one shouldn't have been written. Everybody's like, it's one of the best pieces of literature ever. And I'm like, do we have to admit that? Like,
well, let me tell you, when I was 14, I read my first book by the Marquis de Sade. I like snuck it out of the library, thinking I was going to be like...
We're having some problems right now.
Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. Our mascot has run amok. She's trying to maul our sound engineer. All while wearing a diaper that says, "What's up?" Which sounds aggressive given the situation. It's supposed to be cute, but now it's more like, "What up, bitch?"
She literally, I just watched her drag her lower lip across my wife's areola. It says like a really awkward E.L. James book. Very painfully.
So the first book I read by the Marquis de Sade was so bad I couldn't finish it. And I read some pretty rough stuff. Zachary,
sorry.
Put your fucking phone down.
It was related. It was related.
Fuckboy Marquis de Sade ?
I believe it would be fuckboy. Fuckboy Marquis de Sade.
I will say that it is kind of cool that he died in an asylum, because I feel like that's the kind of energy I want to leave this world with.
Do you think they named Marquis after him?
Like the Mercury Marquis? The car?
No, like the shit you find in malls.
What?
Like I don't know. I just hear that shit referenced a lot in mall stores. Like, oh, but it's by the Marquis. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
That's a whole different thing. But it took me way too long to put those two together. I am going on 2 hours sleep here, just so you know. But yeah, so the Marquis de Sade basically wrote books that weren't just sadistic in nature. Like, he just took it to every extreme. He wasn't just into kink that we know. Like, BDSM was created around, like, essentially the Marquis de Sade. But sadism, that which your daughter is very good at, is basically abuse against a person's will, rape, but also torture. So he would write these books where he did all kinds of vile things, usually to his, like, housekeepers, non-consensual, all the way.
That's like Elizabeth Bathory.
Yes, but with more pedophilia and torture. But...
Just saying something.
Yeah, and when you can upset the French with sex, you have taken it to a whole new level. Yeah. And even in 1700s, if you were a marquis, you could pretty much do whatever you fucking wanted. And even though they were constantly censoring him and arresting him, somehow he managed to just keep moving up through the ranks of their government and became really well known as like an anarchist. And like in his bio, it's like famous author, sadist, pedophile, and atheist. Like, why do those things go together?
Well, that sort of person has always risen to fame in France. It's like that one famous French rapper that copied an American rapper back in the 90s.
I don't know French rappers.
Oh yeah, Marquis Mark.
I hate you.
You walked right into that.
I fucking hate you. I'm too tired for this today, Zach. But so the Marquis de Sade went to prison the first time.
Repeat offender.
Yes. For apparently having anal sex with 4 housekeepers and his friend.
Like at the same time, or like consecutive, like were these like multiple charges?
Because
if it's the same time, did he have to get like a running start?
It's definitely multiple charges, but they were more upset about the dude because he was like considered at the same level as him, whereas housekeepers apparently, you know, you can do whatever you want to them because
back then, I was going to say they were property.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the fact that he had a male lover, as they put it, was more offensive than the fact that he raped 4 women.
I'm sure they called it like louvre, but whatever. I get what you're saying.
And now they praise him because, you know, he made homosexuality seem normal. I was like, yes, but in that, he was also trying to normalize rape and, I don't know, incest and pedophilia.
Well, nobody's successful in everything they endeavor. Just saying.
And the actual reason he got in trouble with the whole housekeeper thing is because he was roofing them with Spanish Fly, which sounds like it should be a rapper's name.
Spanish Fly? Or like a pants brand or something. Like, I can't figure this out. Oh, that's the Spanish Fly. It zips up, not down.
But it's supposedly an aphrodisiac.
For somebody else.
Yes, not for the person. But I guess it's sort of like the 1700s version of roofing or somebody. So that's why he actually got in trouble. Not for fucking them, but for drugging them.
I mean, it sounds like he was ahead of his time. I mean, we recently had a guy called Cosby de Sade that fucking did the same shit.
Well, the whole time I was reading about how even though he just kept raping and molesting and doing horrible things to these women and writing about it, he just kept rising through the ranks politically, like he was Brett fucking Kavanaugh. Like, I don't understand. I do understand, but I'm mad about it. Like, somehow white men just keep getting promoted no matter what they fucking do. But, so yeah, so I always thought he just wrote the bad stuff, but no, he was practicing what he preached.
Market research?
Well, they also kept tossing him in asylums.
Well, he was doing plenty of his own tossing.
But while he was in the asylum, he was still trying to get it in with the housekeepers in the asylum.
Wait, just stick it through the bars?
No. Back in the day, when you were in an asylum, you had like your own little cubby, you had like a writing desk, you know, they didn't want it to interfere with your work. Like you could be crazy. Shit, even Van Gogh. While he was in the asylum, he was making all kinds of gorgeous artwork and even selling it.
Fair.
Makes me want to kind of go into an asylum and just spend my days writing.
It's not the same thing these days, right?
I don't know. I worked in one.
I know. You're the one that told me about the booty juice, which isn't what as fun as you think it is.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think they'd have to give me booty juice. They'd be like, well, it's therapy day. I'd be like, yay, I get to talk about me. Then I get to eat ice cream and then go in my room and not talk to anybody.
And every once in a while, when they try to discharge you, you eat a handful of checkers and you get to stay another month.
Exactly. It's really, I mean, I feel like that's a fair trade.
I mean, that's fair. The dog agrees too.
I was like, did something just growl?
The ghost of the Marquis de Sade.
He is angry.
So you said the first time he was like locked into an asylum, whatever. Like, so how many times was he fucking thrown into asylums?
I think 3. I did not. Okay. We're going to also preface this by we're not really allowed to bring in all of the research we do because then we'll get distracted trying to read.
And we got enough shit going on to be 100% factual. So if you guys want to fact check anything, go right ahead.
Yeah. And feel free to, tell us on social media that we suck and we're wrong. But
and if you're ever an author that we call out and you want to defend yourself, pull up. We'll put you on the fucking podcast.
Yes, we have lots of questions. I'm sure we would love to ask.
I don't think the Marquis de Sade's going to show up anytime soon, though.
I hope not, because if he does, he's probably very angry, and it's very hard to get rid of a vengeful spirit.
Yeah.
And I don't think we want anything he's willing to come at us with. Okay, poor choice of words.
Death by ghost dicking?
Baguette.
God. I mean, that's just, first and foremost, I'm sorry, that would be French. Secondly, like...
The whole story was so French. It's like, sure, he's a rapist and he like has a big thing for torturing and murdering people and necrophilia, but come on. He's rich. He's got great ideas. He's an atheist.
I mean, we pretty much do the same shit nowadays, though.
It's true. I know. That's kind of where the parallels were coming in with me. I was like, so he roofied a bunch of people and got away with it, had to do some occasional spells in a cushy asylum where they gave him everything he wanted, including women to torture and bang. And, well, maybe that's not what he wanted. I hear he liked dudes, so maybe that was his punishment.
Maybe
that's why he was so angry.
Maybe. Just get confusing. I mean, back then, to be honest, I'm sure there was so much hair you couldn't really tell one way or another anyway.
It does seem like it was like the great outdoors.
You think of like if the people got hairy enough, like they would ever get like Velcro lock and like they're trying, then they get tangled and now they're both stuck here for a while. Just me.
Did they have scissors back in the day? Did they have to call a housekeeper or like a servant or a maid?
I mean, probably. What am I doing?
Nothing. She's giving me the stink eye, but his is next episode.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I gotcha. One per episode, please. Everybody line up.
Well, I figure if we've only got 30 minutes, that we can, because we still have our celebrity death match.
Oh yeah, that we're going to be ending each episode with. And I think a fun part about that, Martina, I think what we should do is you come up with a celebrity and or author, and then I'll throw one added that I would like to see fight.
And then we'll put it up on our social media, and you can tell us who you think would win the match. And we'll tell you who the winner was next episode.
That's true. But what happens if like the popular vote takes that one, but then really, because every once in a while the underdog wins?
Well, yeah, but we can defend our stances.
Okay. We have to actually defend him, though, because fuck you, that's why it isn't a valid reason in the debate.
Worked for my thesis.
That's true. It works for government.
It does.
Government debates are just full of fancy wordsmithing for fuck you, man.
Exactly. Per my last email, bitch.
Which I'm fairly certain is what Tupac meant when he said, first off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim.
I mean, that's how I always close out my fucking emails.
Right. God. All right. So, what century, what years was the Marquis de Sade?
1741 to 18 something.
Man, so I mean, he lived a pretty long
time. Yeah, no,
too.
he lived to fuck over a lot of people.
Literally.
Yeah, he was not a nice dude. I mean, now that's the thing though. All of a sudden, all of his ancestors who have come down the line are now like embracing him as some sort of like fucking visionary.
Wait a minute, wasn't he all up into the butt stuff and dudes? Like, how does he have ancestors?
He wasn't just into dudes. I don't even want to give him like bisexual or pansexual because he was just a fucking creep. Like, I don't feel like any of us should have to own him. He was just kind of abhorrent all over. But yeah, so now his like great grandson or nephew or something is like has his own line of like luxury goods and like. Well,
at that point and that far down the lineage, you're just trying to cash in on.
And they are. They're cashing in, and now France is like embracing all of his works and like talking about how he was like misunderstood, and I'm just like, no. No, you're not going to sell me on a fucking guy who writes books about rape and murder. What is happening?
Murder.
I think he was like, Layla, if this is some sort of test, I'm failing.
It's colors. I don't quite know what we're doing.
I don't understand.
So, I mean, that's really interesting. I didn't know. I mean, I knew a little bit, obviously. There's always some level of like fucked upness attached to like old authors, right? Because it's like now, like you look at some of the old greats that came out and some of the things that they came up with, and they were just either into fucked up shit or just fucked up beyond their gourd in order to create anything.
Well, he wasn't even trying to hide. His first book was called 120 Days of Sodomy. He literally wrote a book called, like, 6 months of butt sex. And it was a huge...
Of course it would be. 6 months of butt stuff. Chapter 1, Tuesday. Please tell me he died of, like, syphilis or some shit.
I honestly don't remember how he died, but I hope it was of syphilis.
Do you think he was hung?
I mean, I don't think there's anybody we can ask.
Oh, man. Why don't they put him in the guillotine? What part they're cutting off?
But I don't know. I just thought it was appropriate. Like, I guess because in the kink community, you know, you hear sadism all the time. And you don't really think too much of the word because in, you know, BDSM, sadism is not really against your will. It's like consensual. So I even kind of thought like, oh, well, yeah, he wrote some weird kind of torture porn shit. But then you go back and you look at the stuff and you're like, oh, I'm an adult now and this is not okay. Like it was bad. Like Stephen King gangbang had nothing on this guy.
God. And how do authors slide on this shit too? I can't get away with a fucking typo in my shit. And these other motherfuckers are just throwing shit like that in there. And I'm like, oh no, that's cool. It's like, we're probably not going to do this one because of the subject matter of what they did. But a Florida woman killed somebody and the headlines were Florida author commits murder. And I've looked this bitch up, and she's got one book on Amazon, 3-star review, and 9 reviews. And I'm like, oh, she gets the fucking news and labeled as an author. Like,
I mean, I guess you could murder somebody if you want the title that badly.
This is some bullshit.
Except he would write in going,
USA Today best-selling.
USA Today best-selling author murders. Thank you very much.
And please, she's tugging my hair.
She looks so proud of herself, too. You're just sucking on that binky like Maggie for fucking Simpsons.
She's making the sound, which is hilarious. Sorry, we're talking about our sound engineer / mascot.
So, yeah. In short, Marquis de Sade, original fuckboy.
Literally.
Fucked
boys.
Fucked everybody. You fucking everybody.
Everybody in his house getting dicking.
How'd your wife? How'd your kids?
How'd your wife? He butt fucking everybody up in here.
Okay, so you get to pick first. What author are you choosing as your fighter for this week's author deathmatch?
Jeez. I think I'm going to throw out Dr. Seuss.
Oh. All right. Then I'm going with Stephen King.
Well, since I threw the first challenger, Martina, why did you select your challenger?
Well, because your challenger writes about kids, and mine writes about kids fucking other kids. And I don't know, I feel like there's an interesting level of fuck upness about that death match.
That's true. I chose mine because I know he'll fight dirty. Dude didn't care. His wife was terminally ill and dying, and he was fucking his mistress the whole time. And within like weeks of his wife dying, he married his mistress. Homeboy don't give a shit.
Yeah, didn't he also do like Nazi propaganda shit.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a bad dude.
That's what I'm saying. So he'll straight up he'll straight just like gas chamber fucking Stephen King.
He could, but I feel like Stephen King just keeps living. Like he got run over, and Homeboy's like back at it. Like he didn't even miss a beat. He wrote like 20 more books after that. So he's got some longevity. And he's got a sick mind. He takes like Rockwell-esque type towns, and then he turns them into some creepy, weird shit. A lot of molestation.
I mean, have you ever seen Dr. Seuss? I mean, motherfucker's gonna roll up with a cat and his gat. Like, that's how this fight's gonna go.
And foxes and socks. All right, so that's our first author death match. We got Stephen King versus Dr. Seuss. We'll put it up on our Instagram, and we'll see what you guys think.
Yeah. May the odds be ever in your favor. All right, well, that's been it for the first inaugural episode of Authors Behaving Badly.
Yeah, we didn't fuck it up too bad.
No, not as bad as the Marquis de Sade did.
Marquis de Sade, fucking it up.
That should be a fucking jerk. I'm gonna fuck this up like the Marquis de Sade. Like, that should be how you
I'm gonna murder you like he murdered those women. It's terrible.
Oh God, the swag opportunities out of this podcast are gonna be fantastic.
Murder and pussy the Marquis de Sade. Or I guess it's ass.
I was getting ready to say, why don't you eat Chipotle anymore? That shit murders my ass like the Marquis de Sade, man. What are you talking about?
120 days of sodomy, man.
6 months of butt stuff. I like the American translated version.
That should be the title of this episode.
6 months of butt stuff.
What? It's perfect. There's no swearing.
We can spell B-U-T-T-E like it's French.
Derriere.
He got all in there. That's derriere.
I mean, if they can say butt stuff on Supernatural, I don't know why we can't get away with saying it on the podcast.
That's true. I got no more quips. I'm trying to think of one, but the time's running, and so now I'm out of like.
Well, what you should think of is saying goodbye.
Oh.
Wrap it up. It's winter time.
Well, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I mean, thanks y'all for coming and playing, and yeah, go check it out.
So now I'm going to try to freehand our social media links that we just changed. So this should be fun for all of us. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/authors behaving badly podcast. You can email us at authorsbehavingbadlypodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at Authors Behaving Badly Podcast. All right. Underscore between the words? Underscore between the words. I got the official nod. And then what did we decide for Twitter?
Twitter's not set up yet.
And we have no Twitter yet. So find us on Instagram for our celebrity death match. It's authors_behaving_badly_podcast. So that's where you can find us. Okay? Okay.
Toodles.
Bye.